Hey everybody, welcome to the Curious is Better podcast. I'm Craig Lamb with Invative, and today I have with me Keith Paul from HandyPro. Thanks so much for joining me today, Keith. This is going to be a fun conversation because you and I have spoken before, and you have a great story. I want to open with your backstory because I think it's fantastic.
I appreciate it. Thanks again for having me on. I know we had a pre-meeting and it was only going to be like 15 minutes, and I think we spent an hour or so
Yeah.
because we just had so much synergy going on and connection. So thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. My wife and I, we started the business 29 years ago. I started when I was two, but we started because my wife's grandmother, she lived in Allen Park, Michigan here, and she's 82 years old, getting a kitchen remodeling project completed. And the contractor came up to her and said, I need a $2,000 check. I underbid the cabinets. Please give me $2,000. She did, and never saw the guy again after he cashed it. So um, we looked around, and at that time, contractors were the number one reason that people were calling the Better Business Bureau. And we knew so many good guy contractors. And we said, well, can we make this into a business? And then we did. And we started with one handyman. And what we did, just doing small projects. And then all of a sudden we had, a few years later, we had 10. And we were getting calls around the country what we're doing, and fast forwarding till now, we have 9 locations, anywhere from Florida to DC to Maryland and Indiana, Michigan here, and West Virginia, all over, and just having a blast. So
Yeah, that's a
thank you.
great trajectory. But one of the things that you and I spoke about that I thought was super interesting is like so you like tech and you're innovating and you actually built your own business management system, right? I mean,
We have.
yeah. So why did you go that route versus looking for something that was off the shelf or a SaaS or something like that?
Right. Well, we did. We had a system that we used and modified it for us, but we wanted to jump on the bandwagon of like on-demand work. We were getting into part of our business is aging in place, so doing wheelchairs and ramps and helping people live safe at home for people with disabilities and seniors. And so we were kind of custom. And so we said, and plus we're kind of techie nerds, we enjoyed what we were working with them, and we were like, ooh, what if we did this? What if we did that? And so we hired a company to come in and, kind of structure what we needed at HandyPro, not only for our franchisees, but our clients and our craftsmen and our call center. And we put this big business management system together, and it kind of made it like Uber, where, all of our craftsmen, they just work on their app. And then customers, they can book on an app, they can book online, they can call, they can chat. We make it real easy too. So yeah, we got into the nerd land, as I call it,
Well, yeah,
real quick.
something about you though, Keith, I think you're understating it, right? Is that you're nerds, but you weren't a coder, right? You had to build. You got a group together with your requirements. You went through all of that stuff, and really refined it to what you were working for. But you didn't stop there. Like you do
Hmm.
feedbacks, right, with your craftsmen and all the users that are doing it. You're letting this thing evolve. So how did you find yourself, like, from just being, I guess, tech nerd, but now you really do have the process. You know how it works. You know how to build custom software.
Yeah, yeah. I know how to give directions. Yeah, I'm definitely not a coder,
No, no, I know
not at
that,
all. But
but you don't
you
have
had to
that
have that vision,
yeah, but you don't have that
right?
anxiety that are like, oh, but it's almost like contracting, right? When someone comes in and does a bid for you, are they going to do a good job? Are they not going to do a good job? Are they going to rip me
Right.
off? Right? And you're serving that community, right? By creating a contracting company that's honest and has integrity, and then you had to go
That's
find a
it.
company to help you with this software. So, explain, like, how did you get comfortable in that? Like, knowing what
Wow.
you build.
Great question, and you bring up a real good point, Craig. Yeah, we're building a brand that has integrity and all that. So what we done, we kind of took our core values, right? And we're passionate about serving others, and we take accountability for what we do, and so we wrapped a platform around that. So, for example, we wanted to give an experience to our clients like others were not at the time. They are now because people are finding it. So we're evolving to be better. But at the time, we would notify, we'd make it real easy for the client to build this trust and this rapport. We would send a text, craftsman's on their way. Now we'd send another text when the craftsman arrives. And then we would send a before and after pictures. We would send, everything that would walk the craftsman through this step to build trust and rapport with the client. So it's intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's how it kind of involved in every department that the system is involved with. Our call center, we take all the information, we send it back to the client so they understand, if make sure that we heard what their needs really are and so forth. If not, they can
Yeah,
call us.
and you've
Check
done a
it.
great job. You didn't dilute customers' anxiety; you removed it,
Yeah,
right?
we're trying to. Yeah, absolutely. That's our goal. That's our
Yeah.
goal. We got to be, rapport builders, right, and
Mhm.
trust builders. Because if we can build trust, we got a customer for life.
And do you think that that's what established your expectations with any of the engineering firms that you may have worked with or will work with? You have that same type of uh, antenna, that there's integrity, or do their processes match yours? Because everything you've outlined, it's like an agile process for us engineers, right? Which I'm sure you've heard 100 times. It's like
You're
we have a sprint calendar. We're going to show you what we've done, what we're going to do,
right.
iterate, get confirmation, so things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. It's one of the things, these conversations come with me all the time where I have people looking at me like, Craig, just tell me I'm going to be okay. Like, this is a big undertaking for my company. This is a good investment. And I have to tell them, like, I know you haven't taken the leap yet, but when you do, I'm telling you, every other week, we're going to show you where we're at. We're going to show it on our roadmap. We're going to demonstrate, and I think all those things that you're doing for your customers and we do for our customers kind of echo that the I guess this I don't want to make it too big, but like the sanctity of like the integrity of your work. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not going to abuse or discount your trust in our firm. So same type of thing.
Well, I'm glad you're having this podcast because any listeners that you have, we didn't know the word agile when we started down our own path. And agile is a process that your coding team builds your system, right? And we didn't know that. So if anybody's thinking about starting and taking an endeavor like this, make sure you get a company that has this process already in.
Yeah,
Because when we started, we were just picking at the wall. Are you done yet? When is it going to be done? It was chaos. It
yeah,
was.
yeah,
And that's how we learned, right?
yeah. Right, right. I want to switch gears for a second. You and I spoke at length, and we had a lot of fun with the conversation about how you're looking at different AI tools to improve processes that are already, matured. But you're thinking about things in estimation and dispatch and things like that. Do you want to talk about some of the things that you're excited about?
Oh gosh, and too bad we only have a half hour.
Yeah.
Uh, well, we just implemented something yesterday for like a ticketing system, internal. This is internal now. So if somebody, has an idea or we have a bug in the system, they can just go and click on this thing and you just talk and it walks you through by asking questions. Makes it very, very simple and a good user experience internally. And we call it Trusty, UZY. And because our operating system is called Trust Pro, TRUZT Pro. And I thought that was really cool. So what we're working on now is to make not only our craftsman experience better, but our clients. And we said estimating, for example, right? So, and previously, if we were changing a garbage disposal, if you will, we'll just have to text, we'll have to change a garbage disposal, pick one up and all this. But we learned that, our craftsmen are very, very good at what they do. Just not it's not the funnest thing for them to write up an estimate. You're working on your thumbs and stuff. So
Sure.
now we're working on technology that they can go in and say, this is the type of work I'm doing. We have a knowledge base working with ChatGPT.
And
It's getting all the information right.
a job.
Right. So it and it's helping them write this estimate, put value to the client, be clear to the client what they're getting, and make a better experience for them, all in a matter of minutes, where it used to take us 30 minutes to get something like this. So now we have our own HandyPro way. Um, and we're doing it offline, but now we're putting it inline.
Yeah.
And so when we make our craftsmen happy, it makes our clients happy. Our clients get more value and they get to see the type of works. If we're bidding a room for paint a room, for example, and they see a $500 bid from us and a $300 bid from our competitors, but they see this true value is, well, we're painting the ceiling, we're doing the closet, and we're doing the cleanup, and we're doing this. And so now it puts more value in the clients like that, right? They're
Sure.
less concerned about price, more about value.
No, I just interrupted you because I got excited because we were talking about too is like, we've written a bunch of tools for in all types of industries, but onboarding because turnover is so high and contracting has notoriously high turnover, but you don't, right? So do you think that it has to do with your innovation culture, your technology culture, your craftsmen and customers first, like before Keith? Like you'll take a
Yeah,
shot in the head before either side of the equation. Do you think that that feeds
man,
that?
man, I love your questions. Technology will not increase or decrease your turnover. I don't care how good your technology is. It's your culture
Mhm.
that will, and the technology is a tool to help communicate your culture. So you could have the best technology, you could be the most innovative, and it doesn't take much time to do it. But if you don't have a culture, if you look on our website, our logo says "Craftsmen Who Care." Well, they care because we care about them first. We believe that we take care of our team and we make them a great place to work, then they are going to take care of our clients, and that's done us well over the last 29 years because we do care. We don't just have a place to work. We have a place that we can help them grow. We have growth systems that we can work with them. We put people through financial university, and to help them personally help with their finances and so forth. And but technology, as a tool to say, hey, listen, it's not going to take you 5 years to learn this because we made it innovative. We have AI to it. It does help, but it won't
Yeah.
make somebody stay.
Are
Does
you
that
are
answer
you
your question?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally answer my question because I think it's an interesting point. You're using it as a tool, and that tool is communicating your culture. I think that's coined very, very well, right? Because and the way that you're designing things makes sure that craftsmen want to be craftsmen. They don't want to be in front of a terminal. If they did, they'd have that job, right? So when you're creating tools that accommodate them, I imagine that not only do they appreciate it, they recognize it. Like this is another tool in my toolbox that makes my job easier, right? And so I think you're speaking to that language. The same way that the technology you've chosen to develop and distribute speaks to your clients. Where's my anxiety? I want to see what's going on. Where was I? Where am I going? What exactly is going to be done? And where's
Oh,
my
love
next?
it.
How is the price tag? Well, I'm not making this up, Keith. This is like I'm responding to what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
I've had contractors in my home, and it wouldn't be uncommon to be like, "Oh, I forgot to mention we have to do this and this and this, so that price I quoted you is now this." And then you're going around when it's done with an inspection, like, I know there's something missing here, but I don't know what it is, creating more anxiety, right? And you
Right.
responded to all that, and you just put it out there, like very similar to how Evaded is. It's like we put it all out there, very transparent, like with our
Hmm.
time reports and the code that in our repos that are up for for QA and testing. You do the same thing. So I feel like we have a very similar culture, and I do think that clients and customers appreciate that. So
Mm.
I'm congratulating only because it's like it's so easy to
Thank you.
see um, the
There's
trajectory.
a
Is I think
right.
that it's screams success. It just does. I don't
There's a
know.
principle that states great businesses do what others know they should do, but generally don't. It's like, But it's harder to do it that way. You got to give it a lot of thought. It takes planning and strategy to make sure that experience is a good one for everybody who's using it.
You and I talked too about scale and your franchise model and growing that out. Have you been using any AI tools besides the standard chat GPT or anything like that, in evaluating data, either regional or national or otherwise, to figure out where your best next growth point would be? Or do those things come more organically, by like just responding to inquiry?
Oh
I'm hitting you a
boy.
lot today, Keith.
No. This is really good, and I paused to answer because I think of something that just came up with our finance team. Because they are, we have a HandyPro knowledge base within ChatGPT that we're feeding all the information from our company so we can do what we do better. And they pulled up a report to answer your question. They pulled up a report based on our financials and based on our ROI campaign on our marketing strategy. And they took all this data, fed it in, and said, where are there opportunities to grow as a organization? Asked some questions, and we were answering it. Lo and behold, at the very end, it came with this, which is the right conclusion, because I believe ChatGPT can help you get 80% there, but it's the next 20% that really makes the magic that we have to put in there. It came to the conclusion that we have an opportunity to improve our existing clients' experience and market more to them. They need to hear more from us. And so when I think about how we can use it and what innovation that can come from it, there's so much. And this is an example, right? So we're just a business owner. How can we become more profitable, help more people? Oh yeah, help your existing clients more.
Yeah, I was going to
And
say,
gave us a roadmap to do it.
that's an interesting reveal because I think that without doing the analysis, your head would say, "Oh, I've provided them with this great experience. Next time they have something that needs to be fixed, replaced, enhanced, they're going to call me." But that might not necessarily be true if the data is not supporting that,
Out of
right?
sight, out of mind.
Right. I mean, so I think
Right.
that's an interesting reveal. It's an
Yeah, and we have
interesting.
a very high repeat and referral base, but based on the information, yeah, based on the data, as you said, oh no, we can increase that 50% within 6 months by putting this other plan in place because we do, we keep in constant contact with them, but no, there's other opportunities out there.
Well, sure. I imagine just based on, I'm making some assumptions here, but like if you're going to that level of depth to do analysis, you could get into like, not just franchise growth or business growth where you currently are, but employee churn or, product margins for like installs where those exist. There'd be a lot of
Yes.
opportunities. I am curious though, Keith, do you think that there's a spot in your business where AI does not belong, inappropriate, like stuff that would be like cannot be replaced by? Do you think it's I don't want
Uh,
to put,
bu- building rapport.
yeah,
We can give tools, we can give training, what kind of questions to ask. Um, what's the best questions to ask a client when you walk into their house and give giving an estimate and to build trust. AI will not replace genuine connection with people. So we could have the best craftsman, but if he doesn't care about the questions he's asking or not listening to the client's needs, AI is not going to solve that. No way. No, we got to have the right people first and use AI as a tool to leverage that. Great
yeah.
question.
But Keith, as we're wrapping up, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there anything that you want to talk about that Handy Pro's up to on the roadmap, or anything interesting projects that you're working on?
Oh gosh, there are our wish list on this whole software is we just can't get to it fast enough because I say anybody who's doing this type of innovation always have to have a 20-year-old with you because they're just spoon feeding us. Why you could do this? We can do that. We can try that. We can do that. That's one of them. We have been approached to do white labeling because there's other companies who need this type of software: electricians, plumbers, housekeepers, facility managers, and
You
yeah,
have a
yeah,
any
and
little tech stack.
yeah. And if we can do this and we can get more data to help our franchisees grow and help them grow, yeah, it's a consideration. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fun. Never thought it would go this way, but that's how businesses start, right?
that's right.
And you just
Yeah,
listen to the needs of the people.
I think it's been you've done a great job. Really impressive. Well, listen, I want to thank you for joining. I appreciate every time we get a conversation going, and I don't be surprised if I follow up for like part two. See how you're doing with
Awesome, love it.
you know. But yeah, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for listening. Um, Keith, I will talk to you again soon. I appreciate it very, very much.
Craig, great experience and love your questions. Thank you for doing this and helping educate everybody how to do this better.
Thanks.